Ethan Carter lived a quiet life on Nova Gaia, a human colony far from Earth. He was an engineer, skilled at fixing starships, robots, and almost anything mechanical. Life had become simple, predictable, and, to many, a little lonely. Ethan liked it that way. After losing his family in a shuttle accident years ago, he had stopped expecting companionship. The people of the colony knew him as kind, helpful, and a little gruff, but he kept them at a distance. One sunny morning, Ethan was walking to his workshop, carrying a toolbox when he heard a small, trembling voice call out, "Please, sir." He looked around, frowning. The streets of Nova Gaia were usually busy with traders, engineers, and alien visitors, but no one was standing close enough to need help. Then he saw her, a small girl, her blue skin glowing faintly in the morning light and her large eyes shining with urgency. I just need a dad for one day," she said, her voice almost a whisper. "Please, sir. Here's $7. She held out a handful of crumpled bills. Ethan blinked. He looked at the tiny figure, then at the money in her hand. $7. And she wanted a dad? He had no idea what to say. I think you might be lost," he said carefully. "I'm not lost," she said, shaking her head. "I'm Lyra. I just really need a human dad for today. I tried asking other people, but no one would help." "Please," Ethan studied her. She was small, maybe no more than 8 Earth years old, with delicate hands and bright, curious eyes. Her kind, alien features were strange, yet something familiar tugged at his heart. Despite himself, he felt a spark of curiosity and compassion. $7 isn't much," he said. "And I'm not really good with kids, I know," Lyra said quickly, her hands clasped together. "That's why I need you. I don't have a human dad, and my parents, they're far away. I just want one day. That's all, please." Ethan rubbed the back of his neck, uncomfortable and unsure. He had never taken care of anyone other than himself. But there was something in the way she looked at him, hopeful, trusting, that made him pause. "All right," he said finally, with a sigh. "One day." "That's it. One day." Lyra's face lit up. She smiled so wide it almost made Ethan laugh. "Thank you. You won't regret it." He led her toward the city center, feeling awkward but strangely alive. Lyra chattered the entire way, asking questions about humans, about Nova Gaia, and about him. She seemed to know very little about Earth customs, and her curiosity was endless. "Why do humans like pancakes?" she asked, suddenly pointing at a small cafe. "They taste good," Ethan replied with a shrug. "And, well, some of us like syrup." Lyra tilted her head, processing this information. "Syrup, sweet sticky water. Interesting, I think I'd like that." When they entered the cafe, Ethan ordered pancakes and hot chocolate for both of them. Lyra's eyes grew wide as the food arrived, and she tasted it carefully, like a scientist testing a new experiment. Soon she was grinning, smearing syrup on her fingers and laughing. Ethan found himself smiling too, a feeling he had not experienced in years. After breakfast, Lyra tugged at his sleeve. "Let's go explore. I want to see what a human dad does in a day." Ethan laughed softly. "You don't really know what a human dad does, do you?" "Nope," she admitted cheerfully. "That's why I need you. Please teach me." They walked through the bustling streets, visiting the marketplace, pet shops, and parks. Lyra was fascinated by everything, the way humans walked, spoke, and interacted. She was full of questions, and Ethan found himself answering carefully, realizing that she was learning more than he thought. "Do humans always get sad?" she asked quietly, stopping near a fountain. "Sometimes," Ethan said slowly, "but sadness is normal. It helps us appreciate the happy moments more." Lyra nodded thoughtfully. "I think I understand." "A little." By mid-afternoon, Ethan and Lyra were sitting on a bench overlooking the city. The sun was warm, and a gentle breeze rustled through the trees. For the first time in years, Ethan felt peaceful. But their peaceful day was about to change. A shadow moved across the street. It was fast, silent, and something about it made Ethan's instincts flare. He noticed children nearby pointing and gasping, and he realized that the creature, a strange biomechanical drone, was circling the area, scanning for targets. It was clear that it was dangerous. "Lyra, stay close to me," Ethan whispered. "Don't move." Lyra looked up at him, eyes wide. What is it?" "A problem we need to handle," he said grimly. "Trust me." Ethan led her behind a stall, using the market tables as cover. The drone's sensors glowed as it scanned the area, moving with unnatural speed. Ethan's mind raced. He was an engineer, yes, but he had never faced anything like this in the middle of a city. He grabbed a nearby toolbox, opened it, and quickly assembled a small electromagnetic pulse device. It was risky, but it might disable the drone long enough for them to escape. "Stay here," he told Lyra, giving her a reassuring nod. "I'll handle this." Lyra's hand gripped his sleeve. "No, we're a team. I'm your kid for today, right? We face problems together." Ethan paused, surprised. Then he smiled. "All right, together then." With Lyra by his side, he approached the drone carefully. Lyra's alien senses helped. She could see subtle movements in the drone that humans might miss. She pointed and whispered instructions that Ethan followed. Working together, they managed to trigger the EMP device, sending the drone into a short circuit. It crashed noisily into a market stall, harmless but disabled for now. Panting, Ethan turned to Lyra. "Not bad, kid. You're braver than most humans I know." Lyra smiled proudly. "I'm learning from the best." They returned to the park, sitting quietly for a few minutes. The sun was dipping lower in the sky, casting long shadows. Ethan realized that despite the danger, he had never felt more alive. This tiny alien girl had reminded him of something he had long forgotten: the joy of connection, and the power of caring for someone who trusted him completely. As the day ended, Lyra rested her head on his shoulder. "Thank you, Dad," she whispered. "Even if it's just for today." Ethan felt a lump in his throat. You're welcome, Lyra. One day or not, you taught me more than you'll ever know." The sun set over Nova Gaia, painting the sky in orange and pink. Ethan and Lyra walked home together, two unlikely companions bound by a single day that neither would forget. And though the drone had been defeated for now, Ethan knew that life on this colony was full of surprises, some dangerous, some wonderful. But with courage, kindness, and a little heart, humans could rise above anything. The next morning, Nova Gaia's streets were quiet and bright, but Ethan Carter knew that calm often hid danger. He glanced at Lyra, who was bouncing on her feet with curiosity and excitement. "Good morning, Dad," she exclaimed, her blue skin glowing softly in the morning sun. Ethan chuckled. "Morning, kid. Ready for another day of adventure?" Lyra nodded enthusiastically. "Yes. Today I want to learn about everything humans do at work." Ethan led her to his workshop, a large hangar filled with starship parts, tools, and half-finished machines. Lyra's eyes widened. She had never seen so many mechanical gadgets, and she darted from one invention to another, touching things gently and asking endless questions. "Humans build all this?" she asked, her voice filled with wonder. "Humans and a little help from alien friends," Ethan replied. "It takes patience, skill, and sometimes a lot of trial and error." Lyra's small hands hovered over a complex starship console. "Can I help?" Ethan hesitated. "It's dangerous, kid, but I can teach you something simple." He handed her a small repair panel. Together, they fixed a minor wiring problem, laughing when Lyra accidentally connected the wrong wires and caused a small spark. Ethan was amazed at how quickly she learned, her alien intelligence combining with human curiosity. "You're a natural, Lyra," he said proudly. "I'm impressed," Lyra grinned. "Thanks, Dad, I feel smart and strong like a real human kid." For a few hours, they worked side by side. Lyra's laughter filled the workshop, echoing off the metal walls, and Ethan felt something he hadn't felt in years: joy. He realized that teaching her was not just about passing skills, but about building trust, friendship, and connection. But the peaceful morning ended suddenly. A loud crash shook the workshop. Ethan's heart raced. He ran outside with Lyra, scanning the streets. The bio-drone they had disabled the day before was back. This time it had been upgraded and looked even more dangerous. Its sensors glowed red, and it moved with terrifying speed. Children in the streets screamed and ran for cover. "Stay close to me, Lyra," Ethan shouted. "I'm not leaving you, Dad," Lyra yelled back. Her small hands glowed faintly as she concentrated. Ethan realized she was using a minor alien ability to sense the drone's movements. Together, they sprinted through the marketplace, dodging obstacles. Ethan used his engineering knowledge to improvise small traps: a stack of crates, a hanging sign, and a tangle of wires. Each time the drone advanced, Lyra's quick thinking guided him to place the traps perfectly. "You're amazing, Lyra," Ethan said as they ducked behind a stall. I'm learning from you, Dad, she shouted, smiling fiercely. The drone lunged again, faster than before. Ethan grabbed a nearby metal pipe and held it like a staff. He remembered the EMP device from yesterday, but this time the drone was stronger. He needed another plan. Follow my lead, Ethan shouted. We'll use the environment. Using their knowledge of the market, Ethan led the drone toward a narrow alley. Lyra pointed out weak spots in the walls, allowing Ethan to trigger falling crates. The drone got stuck briefly under the debris. Ethan acted quickly, using his portable EMP device to shut it down completely. Sparks flew and the machine fell silent. Lyra jumped up and hugged Ethan. We did it. We stopped it together. Ethan held her tightly, his heart full. Yes, kid, together. After the danger passed, the city authorities arrived to collect the drone's remains. Ethan and Lyra watched from a distance, breathing heavily but smiling. You were amazing, Dad, Lyra said softly, her eyes serious. You protected me. You cared about me. Ethan knelt down so he could look her in the eyes. And I am proud of you, Lyra. You were brave and smart. You reminded me why humans fight for each other. And why family, even one day of it, is so important. They walked back to the park where they had spent the previous evening. Lyra sat on a bench, her small hands folded in her lap. She looked up at Ethan. I wish I could stay with you longer, she whispered. Ethan's throat tightened. I wish that too, but sometimes life only gives us moments, and moments can be enough to change us forever. Lyra smiled faintly. You really are my dad, even if it's just one day. Ethan pulled a small gift from his pocket, a simple bracelet he had crafted from leftover metal and crystals in his workshop. Take this, he said. So you'll always remember today, and so I'll remember you. Lyra's eyes sparkled as she held the bracelet. I'll never forget you, Dad. I promise. The sun dipped low, painting the sky in shades of gold and purple. Ethan watched her walk toward the transport station that would take her back to her family. His heart felt heavy but also full. Lyra had brought life back into him, reminded him that connection, courage, and love were the greatest gifts any human or alien could experience. As Lyra waved goodbye, a soft hum came from the bracelet. Ethan smiled, realizing that family was not always about blood. It was about trust, care, and courage shared between hearts. He returned to his workshop, feeling a warmth he hadn't known in years. The colony was alive with the usual noise, trade, and bustle, but for Ethan, it felt different. He saw people differently now. He noticed small gestures, acts of kindness, and the beauty in helping others. Over the next days, Ethan began mentoring children in the colony. He taught them basic engineering, showed them how to solve problems, and most importantly, showed them that someone cared. Lyra's brief presence had sparked a change not just in him, but in the community around him. Weeks later, a message arrived from Lyra's family. They sent thanks, explaining how Lyra had shared stories about her human dad, the adventures, and the lessons she had learned. Her parents were proud of her bravery and grateful to Ethan for showing their daughter what family could mean, even for one precious day. Ethan held the message in his hands, smiling. One day, but a lifetime of change, he whispered to himself. And somewhere far away, Lyra held the bracelet he had given her, glowing softly under Nova Gaia's twin moons. She remembered the laughter, the lessons, and the warmth of a father's care. She had learned about courage, trust, and human kindness, all in a single day. The bond they had formed, brief yet powerful, was proof that family was not limited to species, blood, or time. It was about heart, bravery, and the willingness to care. Ethan looked out over the city as night fell, the stars twinkling like diamonds above Nova Gaia. He felt hope and strength, ready to face whatever challenges the colony and life would bring. Because he had learned that even in a universe full of unknowns, humans had a gift, the power to rise above fear, to protect and to love. And sometimes a single day, a small choice, and a tiny alien girl with $7 could change everything. And that day had changed everything.